As of the second round in the NBA playoffs, there have been 15 games decided by 3 points or less. Every other day, we've been getting buzzer beaters and close games coming down to the last shot, steal, or dunk. But what makes this year different from the rest? After all, haven't NBA ratings been going down lately? More on that to come. Looking at the regular season rankings, the league is a lot more balanced. When you look at the West, only 4 games are separating the 2nd seed from the 8th seed, and even crazier, 2 games that separate the 3rd seed from the 8th seed. It's crazy that we're right now seeing a 6th and 7th seed matchup in the semis. Even home court is probably not much of an advantage, as all road teams won their first game of their matchup in the semis. Because the league is more balanced, the series and matchups have been a lot closer as well, especially in the first round. Now, my biggest complaint about the first round is that half the matchups aren't even worth watching, unless you're a fan, because they're more or less going to be sweeps. You might as well make it out of 5 games instead of 7, but of course, Adam Silver wants to make as much money as he can. Although this year's first round had 5 series that were sweeps or gentlemen's sweeps, there were actually 2 Game 7 matchups in the first round, which hasn't happened at all in the last 3 years. Of course, the Clippers and Nuggets had a couple of games come down to the wire, and let's not forget about the Pistons-Knicks series, where virtually every game besides Game 1 came down to the wire. The Knicks won the entire series by just 8 points. It's not that we hadn't had good first-round matchups in the years past. I mean, we've had the Celtics versus the Nets in 2022. KD and Kyrie against the young Celtics. Yeah, well, 4-0 sweep. And then in 2023, we had the Suns versus the Clippers, a prime West first-round matchup, in which somehow the Clippers are always supposed to make some run in the playoffs, but never do, resulting in 4-1 Suns win. See, the problem with the playoffs is when the media hypes up these matchups before they even start. And then on paper, they seem good. But when the players don't perform for whatever reason, people's expectations fall and they stop tuning in.
I expect a sweep in this series. I don't expect the Boston Celtics to win a single game. I'm just looking at them and I'm like, you got no shot. Stop it. Stop it.
But if the matchups do live up to the hype, like this year has so far, you're going to keep watching. Now, don't take it from me though. The Warriors versus Rockets Game 7 was the most viewed Game 7 since 2009. And even NBA ratings are currently up 6%. But what makes someone want to watch ball after a long time of not keeping up with the NBA? Sure, the games have to be close, but it's also about the matchups. We got to see a lot of young teams go head to head with more experienced teams who've been there, done that. Even though the Lakers and Wolves series only went 5 games, we got to see a matchup with one of the rising faces in the league, in Ant, going up against LeBron. And don't forget Luka, who had just been Ant in the playoffs last year. Again, we saw this with Houston, Golden State, and now with the Wolves. These matchups resemble the apprentice-sensei dynamic. Is it who's going to take over the league? Or is it just wait your turn, young fella? It gets you curious and tuned in to see who's going to win. The younger teams have what the experienced don't have in health, and the older teams have what the younger teams don't: experience. But the momentum has to keep going, or else these playoffs will be short-lived. In the previous years, it's not that we didn't get good matchups, like I said before. It's just that the games weren't close. Just take last year's semifinals with the Timberwolves against the Nuggets. Good series with great players, yet 4 out of the 7 games won in the series were decided by more than 20 points. And when you have a game flow chart like this, where there's no lead changes or suspense within the game, then why watch? The finals are no exception either. In fact, the last 3 NBA finals have been some of the worst head-to-head matchups I've ever seen. To prove my point, ChatGPT calculated the total amount of points that each champion won by in the entire series against their opponent. So take for example last year, Boston against Dallas, where Boston won the entire series by 18 points, and 3 out of those 5 games weren't really close. In 2023, the Nuggets won the series against the Heat by a whopping 41 points, yet again with 3 out of the 5 games not being that close. But worst of all, the Warriors winning the series against the Celtics in 2022 by 24 points. Okay, maybe not that much of a blowout, but not a single game was really that close. And by close, I mean coming down to the last shot, which we've seen several games come down to this year in the playoffs. Blowout playoff games are one thing, but mismatch finals are another, which is why ratings have been down. It's no surprise that as the number of 3-point attempts went up each year by each team, the ratings also went down. Some say there's no strategy in the game. I mean, if one team is just making more threes than the other, then they'll just win point blank. And just the other night, Boston was chucking them all day, setting the playoff record for most missed threes in a game. Now, of course, if they made all of them, then it would be a blowout and they'd win the game easily. And then there's probably not much to see there and not much to talk about. Now, I don't think Adam Silver had something out for the players to start fights or anything, although you never know. But the brawls have been the icing on the cake this year, showing that basketball played with defense and intensity is a peak product to see on display. Now, let me know what you guys think, if this year could be a turnaround year for the NBA, if these playoffs are more of an anomaly, or if you think this is the start of something better to come.